In this video I'm going to show you how to edit levels in Doom Eternal using Notepad++ instead of Entity Hero. Now I've already shown you how to use Entity Hero to edit some maps in Doom Eternal, but I have found Entity Hero, at least with the current version, to be pretty unstable and to crash often. There are some things that I just simply can't do in Entity Hero because it just crashes every time, but with Notepad++ it does work. I still think Entity Hero is a great program and is a great way to get started into editing Doom Eternal levels. But if you start to get into it and you really want to do some more editing of levels, then you really need to start using Notepad++ because I think I have now edited about 4 or 5 levels, and I think Notepad++ crashed only once. Totally can't remember why it crashed, but that was just once in all that time. So it's really stable. There's more things you can do with it as well with editing the maps, and it's, well, a much easier going time of editing the maps. So in this video I'm going to show you how to get started with Notepad++. I'm going to show you the way that I use it to make things easier, and we'll also edit an encounter together using Notepad++ to get you started with it too. If you like my work and you find it useful, please support me on Patreon. You know, making these tutorials can take a lot of time, and so a bit of money would be really greatly appreciated. Also, I will be making some more tutorials. Some I will put on YouTube for free, but others will be available only for Patreon subscribers. I haven't made these videos yet, but I will update the descriptions of my current tutorials to include a list of the Patreon subscriber videos so that you can have an idea of what extra stuff you could get if you do become a subscriber. Anyway, with that said, let's get on with this. So I'm going to walk you through this every step of the way to make it really clear and easy. So first of all, you need to download Notepad++. So I'm going to go into Chrome here, go over here, and this is the web link that you want. Of course, you can just search in Google Notepad++ download. You'll probably find this website pretty easily. Right, Notepad++ 8.1 release, the most recent one. We'll click on that. Download. There it is, downloading. Let's run it. English, sure. Next, I agree. Here's the location. I already have Notepad++ installed here, so just for this tutorial, I'm going to edit the location so that I don't screw things up for my own computer. So I'm putting in a 2 there. Next. All this stuff. Yeah, sure. Have it. Install it with these extras. You can have a desktop if you shortcut if you want. Install. And that's it. Finish. And here it is. Here's Notepad++. So Notepad++, as you might expect, is pretty similar to Notepad, but it's just a lot more advanced. You can see here there's line numbers for each line, and that's pretty useful for coding as well. Anyway, we got Notepad++. What's next is that we need to get some plugins to help coding Doom Eternal be easier. I don't think I'd be able to do it without these particular plugins, so they really are necessary. By the way, this Notepad++ has already loaded one of my text documents, which is bookmarks.txt. This includes a bunch of useful code and console commands for Doom Eternal. I will include this document as well as some other useful documents in the description of this video. But I'll talk about this later, so don't worry about it now. For now, for Notepad++, we need some plugins. So we click on Plugins up here, and then Plugins Admin. Here we go. What do we need to find? We need to find Bookmarks Duke. Something like that. There it is. Bookmarks at Duke. Tick that. We ticked it. What else do we need? Finger text. So we find finger text, and there he is, finger text. We selected both of them. Now we go up to install. If you click yes, you will quit Notepad++. Bloody bloody. Yeah, continue. Now it's installing the plugins. So we click on plugins again, and there they are, bookmarks doc, and there's finger text. So cool, that worked. To make sure you can see these then, make sure bookmarks panel is ticked. Like if I take that off, you can see something just disappeared down here. So let's tick it again. Bookmarks Duke. I keep saying doc, but it's not doc, it's Duke. Bookmarks Duke, right here. What else is really useful to have? So finger text, we want to toggle on or off the snippet doc. And there it is. So let's make this a bit bigger. There's finger text. Right then, so why am I telling you to install these plugins? Well, the bookmarks are really useful for making a bookmark of the entities file, the map text file, bookmarking the encounters that you want to edit, or bookmarking the extra demons you want to include, this kind of thing. Because you see, the problem with editing the maps in Notepad++ is that the text files are huge. They go on forever and ever. You know, this document is just my useful codes document, so it hasn't really got that much in it, but you can see how long it is already. Well, the entities files for Doom Eternal, they go on for tens of thousands of lines, so it can be very easy to feel intimidated by it and get lost. So what you can do then is you can make a title, like here, for example, console commands, and then click right next to it between the line number and the actual text. It gives you a blue dot, and down here you've got the bookmark. So just to demonstrate, I've included code wait AI remaining. That means once all the enemies are dead in a current wave, when there's no more enemies left, then do something else, maybe spawn another bunch of enemies. I bookmark that. Let's bookmark something else, single spawn AI. I think you'll be familiar with this one, spawn single AI. Here's all the bookmarks. So console commands, I click on that, brings me straight to console commands. Wait AI remaining, brings me straight there. It's down here, which is a bit confusing, but you get the idea. Something worth noting then is that it's kind of tricky to save bookmarks. When you close your document up here, the bookmarks will all disappear. I think there is a way to save the bookmarks, but I can't quite remember how to do that right now. Either way, for me it doesn't really matter, because I use the bookmarks to navigate the code while I'm editing the level. I don't mind if the bookmarks go missing later, because you see, a problem with this bookmarks Duke is that you can't sort these bookmarks, you can't group them, you can't really do anything with them, you can only delete them. And by the way, to delete them you can right click with your mouse and that deletes them, or you can click on the blue dot, that also deletes them. Anyway, as I was saying, my way to make more permanent bookmarks for me to navigate the code, you know, in case I do close the document and lose all of these bookmarks, is by making titles like this, or making titles like that. And that way I can just search, do Control F, and then I could do console, because I know console commands has got console in it. Find next, there it is. That's how I do it. Anyway, that's bookmarks Duke. What about the finger text? So we have the finger text here. So this is useful because you can create templates of code and then paste it in quickly and easily. For example, say that you're in a level and you want to add in a wait of half a second. That's what this is. What can you do then? Well, you can copy this, select it, and then go to finger text, create snippet from selection. You click on that, it brings you to this, a new tab, and there's the code that you just selected. And here you have trigger text, so we could make this wait trigger text. Go over here, save current snippet. You can't actually see it, but that's what it says. Save it. Okay, it's saved. Cool. Now we go back to our document, and you can see here with the finger text, we have the snippets, the template. So what I can do now then is type in wait. I don't want this or any of that, so I'm going to press delete to get rid of that. And now I can press tab, and voila, it's pasted in the code. That way I don't need to copy and paste code all the time. It makes it really convenient, a lot easier. Okay, so that's all for Notepad++ at the moment. Let's start making steps towards modding a Doom Eternal level. So I'm going to exit Notepad++ now. So in order to edit and test a map, you need to make an overrides folder, is what it's called. So for example, we're going to edit the first level, the Hell on Earth. For that then you need to go into your Doom Eternal folder and then make a new folder called Overrides. So here's my folder. You can see here C program files, Steam, Steam apps, Common, Doom Eternal. In Doom Eternal's folder, you make a new folder called Overrides that I have here. In that, maps, game, SP, and since we're going to edit the Hell on Earth map, we need to make a new folder, E1M1 intro. That's the name of the map. And there. Now that you've done that, you need to make a kind of design document. I mean, it's not exactly essential, but it's a really good idea. So, just a Word document for designing your map, designing what changes you want to make, this kind of thing. For me, I've made another folder called modding, and that's where all my information is. You don't need to worry about this so much. This is just the way I've put things. So at the moment I'm working on a mod called the Second Invasion, but here I just call it New Game Plus. I go in here and I've already made a folder for this tutorial, which I've called this E1M1 intro patch to test. Again, this part doesn't really matter. This is just for making notes. But make a document. In this document, you want to put in a console command that we're going to put into Doom Eternal to get the entities file for the map we want to edit. Here is the console command. Now how it works then is you got mh_dump map, and then you got speech marks, and then it's the address for where you want the map file to be saved. Now you can see here you got program files, Steam, Steam apps, Doom Eternal, overrides, the overrides folder we just made, maps, game, SP. We're editing the first map, so we need to change this. So E1M1 intro should be the new folder it makes. And then the file name itself, which is E1M1 intro. So basically, whatever map you want to edit, you need to change this console command. This is for the first map in the base campaign. If you want to change the second map in the base campaign, then you'll need to change this part to reflect the name of the map. Like the second map is Exultia, and as I remember, the name of that map is E1M2 Battle. And so we need to change the name of this folder and change the name of the file as well, Battle. You might be wondering then, how the hell am I supposed to know what the names of all the maps are? Well, I'm going to include a document with this video which gives you a list of all the maps and an example console command so that you can see what you need to change to get that map. Here's a list of the maps then that I was just talking about. So you can see here that for base campaign it uses the folder SP, like you have here, overrides, maps, game, SP. That's the base campaign, and there's the name of the maps. And here's all the map names and which levels they correspond to. For the DLC, for tag 1 and 2, it's a little bit different. Instead of SP, it uses DLC and DLC2, like you have here, overrides, map, game, maps, game, DLC. E4M1 is the rig, the Atlantica. And for tag 2, it's DLC2, overrides, map, game, DLC2, and there you have it. But yeah, like I said, this document is going to be in the description of this video, so that's where you can find it. Right, back to the console command then. We want to get hell on earth, so I'm going to change this back. And now we need to go get the map. So let's copy this, Control C. And now we need to run Doom Eternal. So here we go. Okay, so when it comes to modding, I like to use a save which has all the guns and all the upgrades and all the cheats. And I like to enable the cheats, infinite ammo, and I don't bother with anything else, just infinite ammo. So, hell on earth, let's run it. There is a mod which I highly recommend if you're going to be editing Hell on Earth, which skips the intro video. I'm sure you can find it on Nexus or on Discord. Yeah, you don't want to be sitting through that intro every time you're testing your map. So let's pause that, load the console, and then Control V to paste, and here's the code. Enter. You can see here writing, it's writing the file. Let's bring up the console again. Alt Tab, go back into Windows. Let's go find the Doom Eternal overrides folder again. There's overrides, maps, game, SP, and there you have it. It's made a new folder, E1M1 intro, and there's the entities file. Now you can load that with Notepad++, and voila, we have the map file. Like I said, it's huge. Look at all this. Lots of code. It's scary at first, but don't worry about it too much. You know, the main thing I think about coding is to learn to focus on the parts you want to change and ignore everything else. And yeah, the bookmarks and the finger text help with that, so they're really good. The first thing I want to do then is find the place where the player begins the level in the code. Finding that part of the code is really useful because you can change the coordinates to be anywhere else in the map, and so that way when you're testing the map you can reload it just before the encounter you want to change and not at the beginning of the map, because if you're reloading and testing the map and you always start at the beginning, then you have to play through the whole map all the way up to the encounter that you want to change, and that takes way too much time. Anyway, we need to find the code for where the player starts. How do we do that? Well, I don't really know. With console commands and Notepad++. For that I use Entity Hero. So I'm going to go load Entity Hero. Here's Entity Hero. Here we have it. Thank you, Scorp. And we want to do open from Meathook because that opens the current level, of course. Quick find, initial spawn point. There it is. So we open this up a bit and we want to click on this and copy this text. Control C, copy. That's it. Don't need this anymore. Now back into Notepad++, Control F, find, Control V, paste. Find next. And here it is. Here is the code for where you start in the level. And here are the coordinates. You see the spawn position, where you are exactly, and your orientation, which direction you're facing, and this kind of thing. So to bookmark this, what I like to do is make a new line right above it, and then do 2 slashes here, and then I type in player start. Player start. Then I like to make a bookmark using Bookmarks Duke. So like I said, you click right here between the line number and the text, and you make a bookmark. Now, something very useful in coding are these 2 slashes. If you write in 2 slashes, the game will ignore this line. So this is really useful for making notes, your own comments, without affecting the game. As you may remember from before also, if you close down the document, the bookmarks from Bookmarks Duke will be forgotten. So the way that I make permanent bookmarks is by using the slashes, using these things, because this way I know that I always call the beginning of the level player start, and so I can just search player start and it'll take me right to that code. So this is really useful, something else you should do. Right, so now we know where the player start is. Now I want to change an encounter. So we go back into Doom Eternal. Pause that again. Now I want to type in mh active encounter. You type this in and it will give you the name of the encounter that you're in. Active name, and here it is. Barge Encounter Manager Priest Room After CP, with underscores in between. There is another console command which will copy this text and put it in a document for you, but that didn't work for me, so I don't use it. You can't select it, you can't copy it, it's annoying. You have to just memorize it or write it down, take a photo, something like this. Barge Encounter Manager Priest Room After CP. That's where my design document comes in, and that's where that is quite useful. You remember I made a folder and a document for designing the encounters that I want to change. Well, if I open that up, yeah, before we put in the console command, right, to get the map file. Well, now we're editing the first encounter, so this is what I do. Enc1, short for encounter 1, and underneath that I'm going to put the name of the actual encounter. I've already forgotten what it is, so let's go back into Doom Eternal, remind ourselves. Barge Encounter Manager Priest Room After CP. How could you forget that? Barge Encounter Manager Priest. Forgotten. Say again. Priest Room After CP. Priest Room After CP. I think it's like that. Let's copy this, go into the entities file, Control F, paste it, Control V. Yes, it worked. Cool. Now we've found the encounter. Once again, let's make a bookmark. So, new line, // I'm going to call this Enc1 and 3 zombs. This kind of title can help remind me of what this encounter is about, what happens in it. You know, Enc1, the first encounter, so it's really early on in the level. It's got 3 zombies in it. It's obviously that room that you start off in. Make a bookmark of that with the bookmark Duke. I'm going to update my notes as well. Enc1, 3 zom, that's what it's called. Right, so here we have the title and here we have the encounter manager. Why do I call it encounter manager? Well, if you look in the code, you have here class id encounter manager. That's what this type of code is called, where you edit the demons that are in it and this kind of thing. It's called an encounter manager. It's a useful thing to remember because there's lots of different types of code, and when you code more for making levels, you'll start editing other types of code with different names. Anyway, we're nearly there with editing an encounter. So we're in the first encounter. Let's scroll down to see what we have here. And here we have it. We have events number 9. So there are 9 events. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. I know that's confusing. It says 8 here, but there are 9 because the first item is 0. So that's why there are 9. 9 there. The first item is a single spawn, a zombie. Here's another zombie. Here's another zombie. And that's it. The rest of this encounter is other information. Like here's a wait, is about setting music. And there's a bunch of other stuff. To open the doors, this is playing the audio file, Vega talking to you and this kind of thing. Let's not bother about that though. Let's just change a demon for now. So, here we have encounter spawn zombie tier 1. How do I change the demon? We select this and delete. To quickly select text, what you can do is hold down Control and Shift and then press right or left, and that'll select whole bunches of text. Like you can see here, I can select a whole line that way. It makes it easier. So we select this, delete it. We delete this underscore as well. Now type in an underscore, because when you type in the underscore, you get this list. This is really handy, of course. This is giving you a list of all other text like this in the document. So you can know that this level has all of these demons. Of course, you and I both know that Dread Knight and Cybermancubus are not in this level, but there is code in here for like master levels, and I think that's where it gets it from. It must be id Software's future plans or something, I suppose. How are we going to change this then? We're going to change it to an imp, so I'm going to press I, and there's imp. Now I can press enter, and that puts that in. Control S to save, or you can go up here, file, save. I've already saved it, so I can't save it again. Right, I've changed one of the zombies to an imp. Let's see if that works. So we go back into Doom Eternal, back in the console, and here's the console command, mh_force reload. In Entity Hero, it does some things for you that Notepad++ isn't going to do, and so you're going to have to do it yourself. Now, the reason why this imp hasn't shown up is that this spawn, this AI that's being spawned into this encounter, doesn't have permission, kind of, to use an imp. It only has permissions to use other kinds of AI. Now, what am I talking about? Well, item 1 here, this is the name of the spawn location. You know, originally this was a zombie, and it was in like the top left-hand corner of the room, right? Well, this tells the information of where this spawn is going to be. It also has other information like how it spawns in, like does it teleport in or has some animation, this kind of thing. Anyway, we need to find this target spawn, so we're going to copy that, Control F, Control V, find it. Nope, that's not it. That's not the same name. You got this _NS there, so it's not the right one. Keep going. That's also not right. Keep going. That's not right. That's another encounter manager. Keep going. Nope. Keep going. Aha. Here it is. This is what I'm looking for. You need to find the target spawn. You remember I mentioned before that the encounter is called an encounter manager, and that's because the class of the code was encounter manager. Well, the class of this code is target spawn. So I'm going to bookmark this as well. New line, 2 slashes. I'm going to call this TS, short for target spawn. And I'm going to call it encounter 1 because it's a target spawn for the first encounter. And another bit of notes just to remind me of what it is. It's a zombie, although, well, I'm going to change it to be an imp, so I'm going to write in imp instead. We bookmark it. Okay, here's the target spawn. Let's have a look down then. So yeah, you can see here's the spawn location and orientation information telling you where the demon would be. The reason why our imp did not show up though is because of this part of the code right here, entity defs, and some other code down here, targets. We start with the entity defs. You can see here it only mentions zombie tier 1, no stagger. That means it will only accept that type of demon in this target spawn. What we need to do then is add another one of these to tell it to also use an imp if you ask it to. So we can copy this and paste it, change that to 1. We have here num1. No, there's now 2 of them, so we change that to 2. And now we need to change this. Zombie, we don't want a zombie, so we can delete that. Delete that. Now we have barge AI fodder, and imp is also a fodder, so this will probably work. Type in underscore. Aha, and here's some options that you can choose. I want an imp. You could change this for many other ones, and it would probably work, is what I'd say. Like, for example, instead of a fodder, we could change this to be something else. Underscore. Oh, only fodders here. Well, something else you can do is change the barge, like completely change the area. Like I mentioned before, a lot of these levels have information about master levels, and so you can type in master underscore level AI underscore, and now you've got a whole bunch of other demons to choose from. Carcass, Gargoyle, Cubal, Tentacle, Prowler, Spectre, Doom Hunter Baron, Marauder, all kinds of things. So, theoretically, I haven't tried it myself, but you could put a Marauder in here instead, or a Tyrant if you're really crazy. We're not doing that though, we're putting in an imp. So I'm going to copy this again, put it here, and change this to be imp. Right, I want that. That's the entity devs. I need to do this again for the targets down below. There's the targets. There's only zombies at the moment, so we need to copy this. New line, 1, 2. Instead of zombie, I want an imp. And that's it. It should work now. Let's go test it then. So we go back into Doom Eternal, bring down the console. You can press up to bring up the last console command you entered. Mine was God. I press up again. MH force reload. So we changed a demon. Some other tips about coding then. You have to pay special attention to punctuation, like these semicolons and the brackets. If I go up to entity devs again, here it is. You can notice here, entity devs, open bracket. That's one open bracket. Here's another open bracket, 2. Here's a closed bracket. This is closing this one. So we have only one open bracket now. Here's another open bracket, 2 open brackets, but that one gets closed as well. And here's another closed bracket. So this closed bracket links with this open bracket. This open bracket with that closed bracket. This open bracket with that closed bracket. What I'm saying is that if you are missing a bracket, a closed bracket, and you try testing it, the game will just crash. It will close. In a similar way, if there are semicolons missing where there should be one, like here, it will just crash. So you have to make sure your semicolons are in the right place and you've got enough brackets. I make this point because sometimes this can be rather complicated. You can see with my targets, there's some semicolons here and a bunch of brackets. So you got to make sure you kind of remember how many brackets there are after each code you're editing, or if you're making a new line like this. And that's it for this video, I think. I'm sure it's going to be long enough. There's one last thing I want to tell you though, and that is to make backups. Make copies of the file you're changing a lot, because the worst thing in the world is spending ages changing an encounter and then the game crashes and you have no idea why, and it might be because you're missing a bracket somewhere in this horrendously huge amount of code. You know, I've got my bookmarks here so I can get right back to my encounter quickly, but finding out what it was you did wrong in this huge maze most of the time is impossible, and you just have to start all over again. So this is what I do. We go back into the overrides folder. This is the file that I'm editing. I copy it, Control-C. And there we have it. How often do I make backups? Well, that's up to you. I'm feeling more confident about editing now, so I make backups after every encounter that I change. So once I'm finished with the first encounter, I'll make a copy and just rename it to be Encounter 1. This is fine, by the way. It's not going to cause problems for the game because the only file it's going to be looking at is this one. So you can include anything you want in this folder, actually. And so long as it's not the same name as some file in the game, it's not going to cause any problems. So yeah, you can make a backup after you've finished an encounter, or if you prefer, you could make lots of backups. You can make it 1A and then make another backup, encounter 1B or whatever. You could just leave it as copy like that, but I don't really recommend that because when you've spent a lot of time making an encounter and then it crashes, then you have no idea which one to choose, and so that can kind of waste time. I think it's a good idea to make some kind of label like this so you have some idea of how far back in your coding you're going to be going. Anyway, that's all for this video. I just wanted to get you started with Notepad++ for you to be able to do most of the things you can already do in Entity Hero, just to get you started. I'm going to make other videos to show you how to do other things, like how to make new spawn points in Notepad++. I already have a video of how to do that in Entity Hero, and so if you watch that, you can probably figure out how to do it in Notepad++ yourselves. But yeah, I may make a video with Notepad++ just to demonstrate it more clearly. That's all from me then. If you like this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Like I mentioned before, these tutorials can take a fair amount of time, and so a bit of support would be really appreciated and help motivate me to make some more tutorials. If you're a subscriber to my Patreon, you'll also have some access to some bonus videos, and we can chat and you can request some new tutorials as well. Until next time then everyone, I'll see you later. Bye.